Welcome back to MidEast In-Depth, part of Levant TV's press reviews. Today we will be looking at Egypt. Mahmoud Salim is featured in the Egypt Pulse on Al Monitor. He writes a top story titled, "Will Sisi consider military rule over Egypt's bureaucracy?" As the next president, Abdel Fattah Sisi will have to contend with a sluggish economy, an energy crisis, a water crisis, vanishing tourism and foreign currency reserves, political instability and violence. Sisi will have to deal with voter expectations like those of US President Barack Obama that he faced in 2008 and a potentially fatal backlash if he doesn't deliver on them. It doesn't help that so far there have been very little specifics shared as to what his program will actually entail. The best starting point for Sisi is to tackle all of these issues is the operational reform of the Egyptian state. A bloated bureaucracy, the state's over 6 million employees are not known for their efficiency. The last government appointed by deposed President Hosni Mubarak tried to sidestep these issues by having every minister create a mini-ministry inside his office that would expedite matters, circumventing the bureaucracy by letting the private sector deal with them directly. According to the writer, for things to work on the scale of the Egyptian state, it would require the military to assign officers on every level in every ministry to ensure things are working as they should. It would eventually antagonize the civilian state structure, which might not respond to military exceptionalism after a while. And on the other hand, it would overextend the military almost to its breaking point. Mahmoud Salim says there is one flaw in this plan. The state employees' resistance to such a change would lead to a different kind of institutional infighting. Different government sectors might strike, refuse to comply, or even sabotage the projects that the military wishes to see come to fruition. A clash between the military personnel and the civilian government employees would occur sooner or later, and the latter should not be underestimated. They brought deposed President Mohamed Morsi down, and Mubarak, with all of his power, couldn't make them work any better even when he wanted to. Whether Sisi can succeed where they failed will be clear soon enough. And also on Egypt, the media, which is supposed to create constructive public opinion, can also push the country into retardation unless it reviews its performance and conduct over the past 4 years. Let's see what Hassan Abu Talib wrote in the Ahram newspaper. In a meeting between presidential hopeful Field Marshal Abdel Fattah Sisi and a group of media personalities, he was quoted as saying that public opinion leads today's political scene, adding that the media is highly influential on forming that public opinion. Abu Talib says the message to the media is that it bears a critical national mission in forming a patriotic Egyptian public opinion, conscious of the facts on the ground and the overall crisis, or crisis facing the country irrespective of who is going to be the next president. The writer complains that the media in Egypt focuses on trivial and transient facts and ignores the essence of the event. He looks at the shallow media coverage of Foreign Minister Nabil Fahmi's recent critical visit to Washington, informing US officials of the facts and correcting misunderstandings planted by Muslim Brotherhood forces in the US. And instead of focusing on the visit, its outcome, and many focused on a metaphor that describes relations between the two countries as a permanent marriage. The writer concludes the media we live with must face the truth, namely that its responsibility towards the country and people requires it to constantly evaluate itself and reject all intruders and sensationalism. Egypt stands on the threshold of a delicate phase in every way, after which it either becomes a pioneer country modeling peaceful transition to democracy, societal participation and economic growth with the efforts of its people and wisdom of its leaders, or it becomes another memory in the annals of history. And now let's have a look from a Muslim Brotherhood angle. Eric Traeger-Wagner, fellow at the Washington Institute, believes given the Brotherhood's persistent and dangerous delusion, the existential struggle that has defined Egyptian politics since Morsi's removal will likely worsen. Since the uprising coup that ousted Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi last summer, Washington has encouraged the Muslim Brotherhood and the military-backed government to pursue reconciliation. However, neither side appears interested in conceding anything to the other. The military fears that a remobilized brotherhood would quickly win power and seek vengeance. And despite an unrelenting crackdown that has claimed over 2,500 lives and jailed over 16,000 Egyptians, the brotherhood's demands haven't softened. Morsi must return, they say. According to Traeger, the Brotherhood rhetoric states that General Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who is widely expected to win the presidential election next week, must be executed. Muslim brothers vow to continue resisting the coup because they insist they are winning. In other words, forget reconciliation. The existential struggle that has defined Egyptian politics since Morsi's removal will likely continue and worsen. And the writer adds, the Muslim Brotherhood is also demanding transitional justice, a phrase that Brotherhood leaders deliberately borrowed from post-apartheid South Africa, but then stripped of its conciliatory significance. The Brotherhood's lack of realism is nothing new. The Muslim Brotherhood claims to represent true Islam, overestimating its popularity within Muslim-majority Egypt, and its leaders therefore cannot believe that Egyptians actually rebelled against an Islamist president. Eric Traeger concludes by saying the Brotherhood isn't winning at all. It is at its weakest point in nearly 4 decades. The Muslim Brotherhood's 5 to 8 member cells, known as families, haven't held their meetings since Morsi was ousted. That was it for today. For more updates, please visit levant.tv. Thanks for watching MidEast In-Depth. We will be with you again Monday, and bye for now.